Good morning, this is Daily Knowledge, and today we are going to talk about coronavirus. I'm sure most of you must have heard about this virus from TV channels, articles, so let's discuss in detail the story. Coronavirus, the most dreaded and the most common word talked about today. The whole world has come to a standstill because of this teeny-weeny virus. Streets are empty, roads are deserted, and I hope while watching this video, you all are safe inside your homes. Stay home, stay safe. Now let's begin with what is a virus after all. It's a submicroscopic infectious agent. It can infect all types of life forms, animals, plants to microorganisms. Yeah, it can even infect bacteria and archaea, and of course, human beings. Now the most interesting and the most debated question is whether a virus is a living thing or a non-living thing. I'm sure most of you must be thinking that virus is a living thing because it can infect organisms, it has a genetic material, it reproduces. But outside a host, viruses are dormant. They have none of the traditional trappings of life, metabolism, or consumption of energy to survive. It's just like a speck of sand, although very smaller than that. So scientists consider them as organisms at the edge of life. Very interesting, isn't it? Now let's talk about coronavirus in particular. Out of the millions of types of viruses, millions of types of viruses in the environment, only a few 5,000 species have been described in detail, and coronavirus forms a group within this. Some members in this group can cause mild illness like common cold, whereas some lethal varieties can cause SARS MERS COVID19. SARS MERS COVID19 are all caused by different members of this group.
Now, what is novel coronavirus? Any recently discovered coronavirus of medical significance is temporarily named novel coronavirus. On 11th of February 2020, novel coronavirus was named officially as severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or in short, SARS coronavirus 2, because this virus is genetically related to the virus that caused the SARS outbreak in 2003. And the name of the disease is COVID-19. That is the short form of Coronavirus Disease 2019, indicating the year of the outbreak.
Now, where did it come from? The story begins in China. At the end of 2019, a novel coronavirus was identified as a cause of cluster of pneumonia cases in Wuhan, a city in Hubei province of China. It rapidly spread, resulting in an epidemic throughout China, followed by an increasing number of cases in other countries throughout the world. Chinese health authorities are still trying to determine the origin of the virus, which they say likely came from a seafood market in Wuhan, China.
A wet market where wildlife were traded illegally. It must have been the breeding place of viruses. There are many viruses circulating in animals, and sometimes they jump from animals to human beings. This is called zoonosis.
In early February, Chinese researchers published an article in Nature that concluded that 2019 novel coronavirus is 96% identical at the whole genome level to a bat coronavirus. So it appears likely that bats are the primary source. Whether the virus transmitted directly from the bats or through some other mechanisms like an intermediate host, some pangolins, is unknown. So virus jumps from animals to human beings. Is the reverse possible? You must have recently heard about Nadia, a Malayan tiger at the Bronx Zoo in New York, the first wild domestic animal to test positive for coronavirus. This might be a case of reverse zoonosis, the virus jumping from humans to animals. Now let's discuss about how is the virus transmitted. Virus is typically transmitted via airborne droplets. or fomites.
Coronavirus dwells in the upper respiratory tract, where it can be easily sneezed or coughed onto the next victim. But in some patients, it can lodge itself deep within the lungs, which is fatal.
Once inside the cell, it can make 10,000 copies of itself in a matter of hours. Within a few days, the infected person will carry hundreds of millions of viral particles in every teaspoon of his blood. Nothing to worry, drink a lot of fluids and take enough rest. Our immune system will deal with it. That's how people recover. What are the symptoms? Dry cough, high temperature, fever, shortness of breath, and sometimes diarrhea. If you have mild symptoms, self-isolate yourself as much as possible from family and pets. Use a separate bedroom and bathroom. Your doctor will likely recommend you to stay at home for a period of time and get medical care. Your doctor will follow up with you. The treatment is directed at relieving symptoms and may include pain relievers, cough syrups, rest, and a lot of fluid intake. Currently, no antiviral medication is recommended to treat COVID-19. Scientists around the world are working on different drugs to treat the COVID-19 disease. Anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine is under investigation in clinical trials. Although there is very limited data on the drug's effectiveness. Ivermectin, an Australian study based on ivermectin, a medication used to treat many types of parasitic infections like head lice, ascariasis, etc., has also shown to kill coronavirus in 48 hours. Convalescent plasma therapy is a newly approved treatment with some history of success and could offer hope for sickest COVID-19 patients. The therapy takes antibodies from blood of a person who has recovered from a virus and transfuses into a person who is sick to help him fight the disease. Is there a vaccine for COVID-19? Early January, China shared the genetic sequence of SARS coronavirus 2, allowing research groups around the world to grow the live virus and show how it invades human cells. Many companies and academic institutions are racing to create a vaccine for COVID-19. By April 2020, some 50 vaccine candidates were in development, with 4 organizations having initiated phase 1 safety studies in human subjects. Few more months to go. The researchers, scientists, and doctors are trying to do their best. Now let's talk about what we can do to protect ourselves. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use hand sanitizers that contain at least 60% alcohol. Wash your hands after you have been to public places or after blowing your nose, coughing, and sneezing. Avoid touching your face, eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Cover your mouth and nose with masks. Cough and sneeze into your elbow sleeve. Use a hanky to cover your nose and mouth while coughing and sneezing. Stay at home as much as possible. Put distance between yourself and other people, at least 6 feet or 2 meters. Avoid handshakes or use the alternatives. The best preventive measure is to stay home and stay safe. Thank you. Have a great day.